So, in our previous module, what we tried to do is we tried to give you a basic philosophy of how to describe motion in different ways. So, in this way we introduced the idea of velocity, we introduced the idea of acceleration, and the issue of total derivative came into consideration. So, this expression that is still there in the board, I have kept it purposefully. You see that this is the total derivative of velocity is acceleration. So, now just to make you more familiar with this total derivative concept, so we can write this d dt as of any property, not just velocity, as this. So, this is like you know you can write the shorthand vector notation like this. In this way. So, how it is there? See, the velocity is u, let us say unit vector along x is I, unit vector along y is j, and unit vector along z is k. This nabla operator, very loosely we call it del operator, but I mean it is nabla operator in another way of mentioning. So, if you take a dot product of this, this is so the whole idea is that once you know this operator, you can operate not just it with velocity, but you can operate it with any other variable. Let us work out a simple problem to understand this. So, let us work out a problem. So, problem you have temperature just in arbitrary description in a flow field this much of Kelvin, where x, y, z are in meter and t is in second, and the velocity field is given by this. So, the question is, where again x, y, z are in meter. The question is, what is the net rate of change of temperature of a particle at 2 comma 2 comma sorry 2 comma minus 2 comma 1, all these are in meter, at t equal to 2 second. Okay. So, physically what is the problem? Physically the problem is that there is a flow field and there is a particle which is experiencing a temperature as a function of position and time. So, what is the total rate of change of temperature? Had there been no flow, the change of temperature would solely be due to the change in the temperature with time at a given location, but because there is a flow, the particle will move from one point to another point in the flow field, and the total change of temperature is a consequence of first the unsteady component, that is the temperature at a given point, how it changes with time, but also the convective component, that is how the temperature changes because of the change of position of the particle from one location to the other. So, you can write the total derivative. So, first let us write the unsteady component. Okay. So, this now it is a matter of substituting values. So, this is simple partial differentiation. So, for example, when you write this derivative with respect to time, it is just 3. When you differentiate this with respect to time, these are like fixed. Similarly, you can find out partial derivative of t with respect to x, y, z, these are simple trivial differentiation. So, I am not wasting much time on these. So, you can add it up, and at 2 comma minus 2 comma 1 you can get the value. I am giving you the final answer so that you can yourself work out and check. So, it is 23 Kelvin per second. Okay. Let us work out another problem related to, now this time, the acceleration. So, this problem is something like this. So, you have two large parallel plates which are circular. The gap between these two plates is h, which is variable because this plate is fixed, but this plate is moving down with a uniform velocity v0. Now, this is typically a squeezing type of flow. So, when there is some fluid and the top plate is coming down like this, the fluid will be squeezed radially outwards. Okay. So, the fluid will be squeezed radially outwards what it essentially means is that now there will be a velocity developed in the radial direction, and it is given that velocity profile is uniform in the transverse direction. What it essentially means is something like this. So, let us say if this is the axis of symmetry, at a given radius, if you draw the velocity vectors, it is given that this is uniform. We will later on learn that this uniformity is often disturbed because of the viscosity of the fluid, but there are situations when this uniform velocity profile is not something which is abnormal. Approximate uniform velocity profile can be arrived at. So, you can write that you can write a simple mass balance to describe this velocity as a function of radius and time. So, before that let us complete the problem statement. The problem statement is that you have to find out the acceleration at a given r, assuming that the density of the fluid is constant. So, what we are essentially doing is writing a simple mass balance to solve this problem. So, the mass balance is something like this: when this fluid comes down with a particular velocity, say v0, the volume flow rate corresponding to this is the velocity into the, let us consider a control volume which encompasses this radius r. So, v0 into pi r square is the volume flow rate, velocity times the cross sectional area. This is the rate at which the fluid is swept down. That times the density is the mass flow rate, and at steady state what is happening, whatever is the mass flow rate coming down is the same mass flow rate that is leaving. So, radially, so from this side also to complete the diagram, so it is radially from all directions basically. So, in a sectional view it will look like this. So, this is V into the area 2 pi r h. This is the lateral, this is an imaginary cylindrical space across which the fluid is moving radially outwards. So, V, this is a function of r etc. into 2 pi r h, where h is a function of time. So, the expression for this V, there is a rho here and this rho is same. So, you have V equal to V0 r by 2h. So, it is a one dimensional problem in a sense that V is a function of r, but V is also a function of time. How V is a function of time? V is a function of h and h is a function of time. So, at time equal to 0, say h is equal to h naught. So, at time equal to t, h will be h naught minus V0 into t if V0 is uniform. So, this gap is reducing, initially h naught and then it is coming down. So, the acceleration see this is del V del t plus V del V del R. This is like del u del t plus u del u del x plus v del u del y. Here the coordinates are t and r. So del v del t is, so in the v the function of t is h. So minus v0 r by 2 h square del h del t plus v del r. So acceleration is, what is del h del t is minus v0 okay. So this is the total acceleration, okay. So next what we will do is, we have worked out two problems that illustrate sufficiently the determination or calculation of the total derivative. We will next what we will do is, we will look into the aspects of visualization of fluid flow. So this is very important for experimentalists. Those who will be doing experiments, they will be interested in visualizing how the fluid flow is taking place, and for that different imaginary or conceptual lines are there. So what are those imaginary lines? We will discuss three of those: streamline, streak line and path line. So what is a streamline? Streamlines are imaginary lines in the flow field such that tangent to it at any point represents the velocity vector at that point. Again I am repeating, streamlines are imaginary lines in the flow field such that tangent to it, these lines at any point represent the velocity of flow at that particular point. So if you have a velocity v, then this vector must be tangential to the imaginary line, which is the streamline. Now let us take 2 points which are sufficiently close to each other on the streamline, and let us call this by a differential position vector dr. See this, because these 2 points are sufficiently close, this dr is almost coincident with the curve, which is the streamline. On the other hand, v is tangential to the streamline, so this is basically a chord, but in the limiting sense, when the 2 connecting points of the chord are sufficiently close, this chord becomes like a tangent. So this is effectively a tangent, and this is also by definition tangent to the streamline. So, because both of them are tangent to the streamline, you must have for the streamline this should govern the equation of the streamline. Why this is null vector? Both dr and v are tangent to the streamline. So, their cross product, they are essentially two vectors in the same direction. So, their cross product must be a null vector. So, in a Cartesian system, let us write this dr cross v . This is the determinant. So, I am writing it in this side. So, what it essentially means is that if this is a null vector, so these three individual components are 0, that means individually these must be 0. So, let me write in a shorthand way, this is 0, this is 0 and this is 0. So, combining these you will get dx by u is equal to dy by v is equal to dz by w. Remember that this u, v, w can be functions of time also, which does not appear here. So, streamline is defined at an instant of time. So, at an instant of time you get a particular streamline or a collection of streamlines. At a different time, because u, v, w may change with time, you will get different set of streamlines. Therefore, streamlines are always defined at a given instant of time. So, this is the equation of streamline. What is streak line? Streak lines are imaginary lines in the flow field again, but essentially what do these mean? These are locus of all fluid particles now or at a given time, which at different earlier instants of time had passed through a common point. Perhaps this does not make much of a sense to you until and unless I give an example, and let me give an example here. Let us say that you are trying to visualize a flow by injecting a colored dye. For example, there is water flowing in a channel and then you want to visualize how the flow is taking place. So, you inject a colored dye, say a blue colored dye called as thymol blue. So, now when you inject the colored dye, so you are going on injecting it, so right, so the dye particle which passed through this point at some time before, say at a time 3 units before, is say now here. So, I call it P3. A particle, dye particle which passed through this point at 2 time units before, say is now at P2. A dye particle which passed through this at 1 unit time before is now at P1, and the dye particle currently being injected is here. So, if you join all these, what you will get? You will see that the blue colored dye which was injected here, because all these particles passed through this point at some instant of time before, they will all be colored by this blue color, and therefore, the colored line that you visualize in the flow is this blue colored line, which is a blue color is an example which we call as a streak line. Okay. So, we have to understand very carefully that the streak line that is what we are conceptually considering as a definition is physically the colored line that we see in the experiment after dye injection. So, loosely many people after doing this experiment will say, see the streamlines, conceptually those are not streamlines, those are streak lines, but under a specific condition the streak line and streamline will be identical, and we will come to that in a moment. So, we complete the definition by going into the third concept, that is path line. So, what is a path line? Path line is simply the Lagrangian description. So, path line is the locus of a fluid particle as a function of initial position and time. So, this is simply Lagrangian description. Now, let us consider a special case of steady flow. And I will use this part of the board to schematically explain what happens in a steady flow. So, let us say that there is a particle which in a steady flow moves to a point number 1 at time t, moves to point number 2 in time 2t, and moves to point number 3 in time 3t. So, what is the path line? Path line is simply this locus of the particle. If the velocity of the particle, if the velocity of the particle at a given location is not changing with time, that is if the flow is steady, then actually the path by which the particle has gone tangent to this path will represent the velocity of flow. So, this will also become the streamline, and because the particle trajectories will not change with time because it is steady flow, whatever particles have passed through this point they will be constrained to move along this only. Therefore, the same line may be represented as streamline, streak line or path line. Therefore, for steady flow, streamline, streak line and path line, they are all identical. Therefore, in many experiments we actually physically visualize streak line, but we call that as streamline with an understanding that the experiment is essentially done in a steady flow environment where streak line and streamline are identical. However, for unsteady flows, streamline, streak line and path line will not be identical, and we need to understand carefully how to find out their equations given the expressions of the velocity field as a function of position and time. That we will take up in the next module. Thank you.